Hi everybody, this is Nicole Dials, your instructor for your technical communication class. I just wanted to go over an example of the feasibility report and just talk you through the student example that is posted on Blackboard. This example was written maybe in the spring of this year, if I'm not mistaken, and of 2020. And this person did a good job. Of course, I changed all of the names to just famous people. Oh, I'm sorry, it was written in the summer of last year. The date is right there. Okay, so I'm just going to talk through this. I'm not going to spend a lot of time explaining exactly what a feasibility report is because you likely already know what a feasibility report is if you have completed the readings or really followed along the rest of the class so far. So I don't think I need to spend a lot of time on that. I'm just going to give you some tips to make your feasibility report really great so you can receive an A+. So this person, just like you know, they use the template. So we have the title. This is the title page. This is pretty straightforward. For the abstract is basically another way of just summarizing what the content of the document is. So there is, of course, the title again. Your abstract should give the reader basically a complete overview of the problem, what you researched, and your recommendation. The table of contents is here. The executive summary. So it may seem weird, but this is just the typical way of writing reports, to summarize again. So your abstract will be similar to your executive summary, and then the introduction, it'll kind of seem like you're writing the same thing over and over again. The introduction should have a bit more details, but the executive summary and the abstract can be similar. Not exactly the same, of course, but similar. The executive summary does have a little bit more information. The executive summary is like, you can think of, you would give it to an executive, like a CEO, a very high-ranking person who may not have a lot of time to read the entire document, but by reading the executive summary, again, they should understand the problem, what you researched, and your recommendation. So you can see in this example, this student followed almost that exact formula. So just a little bit of a overview of the problem. And then in this second paragraph, they talked about what they researched. And then in the third paragraph, this person shared their recommendation and a little bit about why. So continuing on to the introduction you can use or at least refer to your Unit 2 proposal, your research proposal document, to help inform this introduction section. The introduction section, again, should really give the reader a lot of information about the problem, the business problem, how it's related exactly to the business. So you can pause this video, or you can also just open this document for yourself and read through it, which I hope you're doing. So in this document, this student is just explaining at the top here about what's going on at their business, and just really giving enough details to where if a person reads it, they would understand why this is problematic for the business. How is it affecting the business negatively? Why is it causing the business to either lose Clients lose money, lose productivity. So whatever you write, it really needs to be related to a business problem. So just keep that in mind as you're writing. So that's the introduction. This person included a table to kind of support what they have written in the introduction section. For the research methods portion, now think of the research methods portion as just an overview of what you did, and then the results section should be the most spelled out, with the most content, the most explanations. It should be like the longest section. So the research methods section should just list out what you did to collect information about how to solve the business problem. So as I'm talking about this now in November 2020, in the future the topic may change, but the topic right now is you're researching which computers to buy for a set of newly hired 10 employees. And then you have some leeway with, explaining what business the employees are hired at and things like that. But that's the baseline problem. So in this student's case, this was a different time, so it's a different topic. They are researching whether or not to move their information to the cloud. And so with that in mind, this person calculated lost productivity. They talked to IT professionals to get an understanding of some security concerns about moving information or business to the cloud. They gathered costs regarding their servers, the things that they were already using at this business. They did some research to figure out the benefits of cloud computing, and then of course, like you would do as well, they analyzed the data, drew conclusions, and formulated a recommendation. So like I said, this section would be pretty short. If it's only a page, that's totally okay. And you should just list out what you did to research the problem. The biggest issue, so the number one thing that students, writers, that's you, that students usually do incorrectly in this assignment is that they don't include enough actual research in the results section. So basically, for all of what you cover here, so if you say that, for example, you interviewed IT professionals, in your research section, you'll want to discuss somewhere what you learned by interviewing that person. What did you ask them? What did they say? And how did that inform what computer you're going to, for your case, what computer you're going to recommend that your company purchase? So you can break it down like this. So far from the examples that I have seen from this class, the class that I'm talking to right now, but I'm sure it's applicable in the future if I'm reusing this video. But most student examples have shown this layout with cost of lost productivity, savings, and so forth. But sometimes there's not enough information from your research, either your primary or your secondary research, to support the claim or the recommendation that you'll make later in the paper. So of course this paper, the recommendations are covered here, but whatever is recommended here, so whatever solution or whatever computer is recommended here, it needs, the reason why you're recommending that computer or that device, that specific device, needs to be mentioned and kind of flushed out in the results section. So basically you're saying that, okay, this is what I did to research this problem, this is what I found out, and then In the conclusion section, it's just a brief overview of like what you found out. But in the recommendation section, it's like, okay, I found this out and I'm based on what I found out, based on my research, this is what I recommend and why. So with the feasibility report or the recommendation report, whichever way you want to call it, the most important part is what you found out and your recommendation. So that would be the results section and the recommendation section. So I hope that is abundantly clear at this point. So in the results section, this student this student presented a lot of information that they found from their research. And it's not, you can't just write under cost of lost productivity, for example. I researched and found out there was a lot of money that we lost, or people were not doing their jobs. Like, that's not enough supporting information. So I hope that makes sense. So I won't go through each of these because I want to keep the video a little bit short. I don't want to bore you. I'm just trying to give you a little bit of extra information. So they go through, this student goes through and shares all of the information that they found out, and there's lots of specific information that they found out. Like I mentioned, the conclusions section will probably be pretty short. It's just kind of like a recap of the results section. And then the next most important part is the recommendations section. So in the recommendations section for you, you're going to choose one of the devices that you researched, and you're going to recommend that your company purchases that device. And then you'll explain why. You'll explain the benefits, like this student does right here. Okay, and then that's the end of the paper. So it's actually not a terribly long paper, but like what I'm saying is that you want to make sure you have supporting information, actual research to support whatever you're going to recommend to the company. So I hope that is helpful. Let me just look through and see if there's anything else that I wanted to mention. The last thing I want to mention is that in your results section, if you used surveys, which for this class now as of November 2020, we're using surveys to reach out and get primary research, make sure that you include the questions and some of the responses or the data from your surveys. So for example, if your survey question asked, what is your favorite color, red, blue, or green? In the results section, you will include, I asked my audience what their favorite color is, and this was the results. And then you can just include it as a table. If you use SurveyMonkey or something, you can just copy the tables from there and place it in the results section. That was the last thing I wanted to say. So I hope this was helpful. And please, as usual, please feel free to reach out to me if you have questions. I can make other videos to help answer more questions about this assignment. I will also reiterate the importance of reading and following the examples, the student examples, and the examples from the textbooks that I've posted. Have a good day. I hope this was helpful. Take care.